Howdy, folks. I'm Zad, the zooming zebra zombie.
I'm Amber.
And here's some Zedit. Alright, folks. Welcome to this Sunday morning special. And what it makes it special, you make it special, of course. Today, we're going to cover a story that's a little smidge, tiny bit homophobic. A tiny bit. Maybe a lot bit.
Yeah.
Our first letter is titled, Will I Be a Jerk for Not Attending a Wedding RSVP After Being Offended by Requests to be Separated from My Husband for the Duration of the Event? Long story short, my husband Sean, a 39-year-old male, and I, a 37-year-old male, are very close to our nieces and nephews. A year ago, our niece Cassie, a 23-year-old female, on Sean's side, got engaged while attending university across the country. We were overjoyed to learn of this, and were looking forward to meeting the young man that she had met, but that was going to have to wait until the wedding, as myself and Sean run a business together, and although we do travel quite a lot for it, Perth isn't one of the places that we go to, so we haven't seen her in person for quite some time, but we have stayed in touch. Well, about 6 months ago, we received the wedding invitation and requested an RSVP ASAP. Cassie used to practically live with us before she moved, so we were very close and we confirmed that we were indeed coming. The accommodations were apparently going to be paid for by the groom's parents, and being that we're in a pretty good position financially, my husband offered to pay for our own room while we were there, but they insisted upon paying for the room. Well, a week ago, we got a strange email from Cassie asking us if it would be okay if we stayed in separate rooms while we were staying there. She did a lot of apologizing for the inconvenience, and it was quite a nervous tone. Sean was annoyed by the request, and being that we had a lot on our plate with the business, he closed the email after reading it out loud to me. Later on that evening, we got another email from Cassie asking if we had time to read her message just before she began calling our home phone. Sean put the call on speakerphone, and Cassie explained to us that her fiance and his parents are Catholic, and that they don't recognize gay relationships or marriages, and were not prepared to pay for a room to contain two men, as they felt that that would be encouraging something that they don't agree with. Sean was annoyed, but he held his temper and told her that it was fine, that we'd just pay for our own room as we'd offered to originally. But Cassie insisted that we not do that we just stay in separate rooms to avoid any dramas for her, and then she went on to tell us that we had been seated at opposite sides of a table for the reception, and that her fiance had requested that we not be in any photos standing together and avoid mentioning our relationship to any of his family. Sean lost his temper at this point and told Cassie that we would not be attending the wedding if that was the case, and hung up on her, and we've been bombarded with messages and calls from Sean's brothers and sisters telling us that Cassie is devastated and heartbroken, and that if we do not attend, it would ruin the event for her. That we're being over dramatic, and that it's just a couple of days of pretending not to be in a relationship for the sake of Cassie's future marriage, and it's starting to make me feel like we should just reconsider and go, despite knowing how insulting the whole thing feels. Will I be a jerk if we stand strong on our decision to not attend? Alright folks, what do you think, jerk or not the jerk?
I don't think Opie's being a jerk here. I think this is ridiculous to ask a couple to pretend like they don't know each other, have nothing to do with each other for an entire wedding, while all the other couples get to mingle and be coupley.
Yeah, what about all the couples who are not married that are sleeping and living together? Are they doing something about them too? And I also want to point out that I believe the Pope, who's as far as I was last aware, is the head of the Catholic Church, has said that being gay is not a crime. Yeah. And that also you shouldn't hold other people to the Catholic religion if they're not Catholic. So your parents aren't even doing what the Pope said. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what the Pope has said.
I think the Pope is kind of wishy-washy, but yeah, I think he has definitely demoted it from being sin territory and is kind of maybe okay with civil unions, but but anyway, it doesn't really matter. The key thing is that OP does not have to follow the groom's parents' arbitrary rules.
Yeah.
Like they're allowed to have their own religious beliefs, but they can't expect to force them on everyone else. And to ask someone like, how would the bride-to-be and her partner feel if someone was like, okay, you can come to our event, but you have to stay in separate rooms, you can't be in any pictures together, you can't do any of this. And I also get a sneaking suspicion that this would be any time his family's involved in an event. Oh, well, our daughter is having her first birthday and would love for you to come, but you have to come in separate cars.
But don't be gay.
Yeah, like this is just...
It gets excessive. And I mean, it would have been excessive, period, if it had just been the hotel room, right? They need to get over themselves. If they don't want to invite you to the wedding, then they don't want to invite you to the wedding. They can't control whether or not you're in a relationship. And your niece, Cassie, really needs to give second thought to marrying into a family that's so deeply homophobic.
Exactly. Like, Cassie is being a bad person here by choosing to support homophobia. Like, I get not wanting to rock the boat, but there is a time and place for that, and this is definitely not the time. You don't just give in to people who are making unreasonable demands.
Yeah. And Cassie needs to just grow a spine and say, look, these two people, they were like fathers to me. You either respect the relationship or I'm not going to marry into this. And I understand that that's a really hard thing to do. It's a really hard position to be in. But you really have to stand for what you believe in. Otherwise, what are you even going to stand for in your life?
And her fiance should be the one doing this because he should have her back. If he doesn't, then there's no point in marrying him. Yeah,
because that also means that he's homophobic as well.
Yeah, because people who are complicit in homophobia, like if he's, oh, well, it's just my parents. You can stand up to your parents. You can talk to them.
Exactly.
Maybe, I know you want their money for your wedding, but like there are more important things than a fancy wedding.
Exactly. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Go Cry to Your Mom says, you will not be the jerk. Request is for you to cater to her fiancé and family's homophobia instead of supporting the uncles who loved and helped raise her. A wedding is a celebration of love and loyalty, and if they cannot respect your marriage, they don't deserve to have you at theirs. Well said, Go Cry to Your Mom. Well, will you look at here? We have another story for Sunday. Am I the jerk for ordering food to my own house? The title is deceptive. Throwaway account, obviously. Obviously, because ordering food to your house is such a controversial thing that you need to have a throwaway account for that one. I'm a 35-year-old male and my girlfriend is a 26-year-old female. And she stays with me at my house a lot. I like having her around, and we have a great time together. It's really helpful because she cooks breakfast and dinner and packs me lunch every day that she's over, so like 5 times a week. We don't usually go out to eat, as it's fun for her to cook, and I like her food better than having to pay for meals out. She usually buys about 75% of the groceries, but that's because she stays at my house instead of her apartment, and it's totally fair considering that I have to pay the water bill for her showers, extra electricity, and things like that. She was spending the weekend with me and got really sick, COVID, and basically she just laid around on my couch all weekend. Except she still did her part on Saturday and Sunday morning. She then made some food for us. She didn't eat much of it though, like normal. But Saturday night, when I asked what we were going to be having for dinner, she said that she wasn't feeling well and she didn't want to cook. No big deal. I figured that she wasn't hungry, so I splurged and I ordered myself something on DoorDash. When it got there, she asked if I had gotten her anything. I said, "You're sick. I thought you said you didn't want to have dinner." And then she got upset. I said in anger, "This is my house, and I can't even order DoorDash without you getting mad." Her behavior was ridiculous. She was admittedly really sick, and I was worried about her driving, but she packed her stuff and left. I haven't heard from her since, but she was totally overreacting. my brain just broke reading that for a
I
second there.
know.
I thought I had misread it because I was like, it's like, no, he can't have said that. I misread this, right? And then I read it again. I'm like, are you still broken brain?
No, that's exactly what it says.
I guess I should have ordered her something, but am I really the jerk for ordering food to my house? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk, not the jerk?
I think OP is being a jerk here.
Oh, please do tell.
I mean, I think there's probably a lot more going on too, a lot bigger issues, but focusing on this one because this is what we have information about.
Yeah.
Generally, when you have someone else in your house with you and you're planning on ordering takeout, even if you expect they're not hungry, it's still common courtesy to be like, oh, hey, by the way, do you want something? And especially where, she's sick.
Yeah.
You'd also think that it would be just a nice thing to be like, oh, hey, do you want anything to eat? I'm going to order some DoorDash.
Yeah, I think that this would have been minimal effort for him to ask her if she wanted some kind of food. And by virtue of the fact that OP didn't ask her at all, didn't consider her feelings on the situation, that it really shows a lot about him.
Yeah, and I think it shows, kind of going off what you were saying, a bigger lack of respect for her in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here she is sick and, miserable, and he's like, oh yeah, she kept cooking for me like it's supposed to happen. As soon as she can't make food for him, he just kind of like, oh, I just forgot about her. She doesn't exist.
Yeah. So another kind of thing is like he's painting this as the problem that she has is that he ordered food when that's not the problem at all.
Right. It's the complete lack of consideration for her.
Yeah. So I think that he's missing the point here, whether on purpose or not.
Yeah, and I wonder how much he does for her in return. Like, she's making breakfasts and dinners for him most of the week.
5 days a week.
And packing him lunches. So all his meals she's preparing 5 out of the 7 days.
And she's paying for 75% of the groceries, too.
Yeah, so, what is he actually doing for her in return?
Yeah, I really do want to know that answer as well. So I think there are some pretty big problems here, but the selfishness of OP is the biggest problem we have here. So, anyhow, take care and good luck on being single, OP. And Magstar222 says, you're the jerk. You couldn't have just asked if she wanted something. She said that she didn't feel like cooking, not that she didn't want to eat. Yeah, there's a world of difference between those two statements.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't be serious. Really? 3 on Sunday? 3 stories?
It's our lucky day.
Am I the jerk for telling my daughter to stop being a drama queen? And folks, this one will turn your stomach. My daughter turned 18 last week, and on her birthday, my boyfriend, who I have an open relationship with, offered to have adult fun time with her now that it would be legal. He didn't threaten her. He didn't repeat the request. After she said no, he said calmly, okay, and then walked away. I wasn't there, but he and she gave the same account. But she's been making a giant issue out of it, saying that she doesn't feel safe with my boyfriend in the house anymore. I told her that she needs to accept that she's an adult now, and that men are going to want to have adult fun time with her, and that's how the world is. Oh my goodness, folks. What do you think, jerk or not the jerk?
Yeah, I definitely think OP is being a jerk and ridiculously insensitive to her daughter.
She just turned 18, and this means, there's some deep issues here.
Yeah.
Some really deep issues here.
Yeah, the day she turns 18, he's suddenly, means he's been thinking about her in that way for a while now, which is gross.
Yeah.
And if he's had any kind of, fatherly role in her life, it's just so gross on so many levels.
Like I said, this just stomach turning type of thing here. I don't understand what possessed this. I know that they have an open relationship, but that doesn't mean that you have to make advances on everything that moves here, right?
I would be horrified on my child's behalf.
Oh yeah,
that is just so.
It's very gross. It's very creepy. And I don't know. I think that OP's daughter has every right to go no contact with both OP and the boyfriend here.
Exactly.
She's saying that she doesn't feel safe. And, okay, so it was just one time that he asked, but all it took one time for to break that trust or relationship that they had established was one time.
Right, and your house is supposed to be a safe space for you. Like, it's one thing if a guy in one of your classes or on the street or something, asks you, propositions you. It's still creepy, but like, you can go home.
You can get away from them.
Yeah, you can get away from them. But in your own, someone who's routinely in your house, like, no wonder she doesn't feel safe. She knows what this guy is thinking about her. She knows how he thinks of her. Like,
yeah, it's just terrible. I feel so bad for her. So anyhow, I guess good luck. I don't know.
Good luck to the daughter.
Good luck to the daughter. And acceptable damage 274 says, you're the jerk. You told her that now that she's turned 18, men are just going to hit on her, and she has to accept that because that's how it is. What in the world, Mom? How about some empathy? Her mother's boyfriend just randomly hit on her out of the blue. The two of you are basically communicating to her that from now on, she's fair game to all men, and that she's not even safe in her own family anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Well said. All right, folks, it is zombie tea time. Grab your zombie teas of choice, and I've got a joke here. And does Amber have another zombie joke for us?
I didn't know we needed zombies today. I didn't think of one.
No, that's too bad. Too bad. I guess you'll be turned into a zombie after this.
Let me think for a second. Why did the zombie love the medical drama?
Why did the zombie love the medical drama? Because it had cadavers? I don't know.
It had a lot of heart.
Zombies like cadavers, right? I think that's kind of their thing.
Why did the student eat her homework?
Why did the student eat her homework? Well, because she clearly has, like, what is that called? Pekka? When you have to eat random objects because you're, like, your body's, like, trying to tell you that you have some kind of vitamin or mineral deficiency.
Because the teacher said it was a piece of cake.
Well, that teacher's a liar. A liar, I tell you. This is why we can't trust teachers. Anyone with a higher degree, don't trust them.
This is the man with a PhD.
Well, that's why I said don't trust me.
You can trust me and my PhD.
You can't trust me. Oh, speaking of not being able to trust me, folks, I actually have a confession, and this is bound to have come out eventually, and it's just been eating at me for like the last several days since the last time I had licorice spice. I've been out of licorice spice, so I don't have any, and I was like, I can cover this up. There's no one's gonna find out. It's gonna be all fun and games. But I didn't have licorice spice, and today was grocery day, and we didn't order any more licorice spice. And so I don't know that I can keep this secret for like another week about licorice spice not being in stock. So I don't have licorice spice today. So if you guessed licorice spice, and I won't have licorice spice for like a week. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being a liar. I'm sorry that the whole thing is a fraud, it's a sham. I can't blame anyone who just like unsubscribes en masse right now. I'm very sorry.
Because you offered it as an option. It's not like you've been telling everyone you have licorice spice when you don't.
No, I know. I didn't lie that I had licorice spice. I'm just saying that I've presented it as an option that doesn't exist. It was bound to catch up with me eventually. Guilt has eaten me alive. And I have Earl Grey. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching this Sunday morning zombie special. Amber, what's the moral of the story? I mean, other than like the last one, which is don't hit on people in your family.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good moral. I would say the moral for our second story, well, I guess both first and second story, all three of them, is be considerate to the people in your lives and don't just kind of like forget about them when their needs are inconvenient to your wants.
And also, don't be homophobic.
Yeah, don't be homophobic.
That's my life advice.
Mm-hmm.
It'll work out well for you. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.